giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Yo, what's up? What's good out there, everybody? It's your boy Carcino here, telling y'all to hit the like button, subscribe to the page right away. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's going down. Late night. Let's see if this chunk is still out there. No, this chunk is finally gone. All right. Now, Fox Sports 1 have decided that they're doing a switch up. They're finna do a whole new rollout. That's right. They got the new show with Craig Carlson, Mark Slareth, and the newcomer that I never heard of in my life named Danny Parkins. They gonna lead off the bright and early morning show, which is at 8 a.m. Eastern time, called Breakfast Ball. That's the new name of the show. Breakfast Ball. What you want for breakfast? So, after Breakfast Ball, they're going to be coming with a whole slew of new things for you to keep you entertained, good folks. They're going to come with a whole new show instead of Undisputed, which is being replaced now by a show called The Faculty. So they took James Johnson, Ocho, and Shady McCoy. They put them in a whole new position now. Not James Johnson, but James Jones. And they got Chase Daniels. And they put them on this show called The Facility. Now they're going to be going up against First Take now. So they got the undisputed spot. And Joy Taylor is going to close it out with her new show, which is still Speak, but now it's officially Joy's show with Keyshawn Johnson and Paul Pierce, who used to be on Undisputed. That's going to lead into their main shows that they got. That's part of the new switch up that they got that's going on. Now, as far as the other shows that they got, the other 2 shows haven't changed. Those are the only 3 shows that have changed. The other ones, The Herd, they're going to keep that just rolling the way it is with the McIntyre guy and Colin Cowherd. They still going to be doing what they do. First Things First with Nick Wrong and Chris Bouchard and the other guy. That's what I call him, the other guy who used to be a producer. What's his name? Kevin Wiles. Now he's on the television. They say, well, you're better on television than you are a producer. So there have been a lot of different angles that they wanted to take with this. They just are not sure which one is the one that's, beneficial. Well, you want to make sure if you do get something, you want to get something that's so beneficial that no one else could deny it. So that's all it really is trying to do what's best in a selection of shows that are coming out, but you have to get back on the air swinging and find out something that you're going to keep long term. Now, Fox Sports 1, when you look at the time slots, Speak has got the biggest job out of everybody because Speak is in a golden position at that 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern spot. They're the lead off until the games. So when they go off, normally the games are kicking off. Like when they go off, you're going to be going into your Thursday night football games, Monday night football. Like those games are going to kick off right after Speak. So with Keyshawn and Paul Pierce being in that position with Joy Taylor, this is a big responsibility spot for them. And that kicks off September the 3rd. Yeah, so that's going to kick off that 5 to 7. And before that, First Things First, which got the afternoon spot from 3. It used to be the lead-in show for Undisputed, but they felt that the show had enough, popularity they could move it to the afternoons. And that show now is probably their lead-in show. And it started a year before Undisputed. Now Undisputed is gone, and First Things First is still there. "2023 was the biggest year for First Things First because, one, it was a switch to the afternoons that really did it for them. So now they had their most watched year with Chris Burchard, Nick Wright, and Kevin Wiles. And by them reducing all of the people that's on the show and just keeping it with those three, and they'll sometimes bring on a guest that's speaking, it made the show more interesting, entirely more interesting. Well, the facility is a new show, so you don't really know what it's going to be just of yet. I don't even think they know what it's going to be just yet. But one thing's for sure, two things for certain. The show is going to have what you call the ideal for change. The flexibility on these shows. So that's what people are going to be mostly concerned with. No, Emmanuel Ultra just wanted his show. When he was on Speak, it was kind of his show with Joy. And that wasn't the plan. And Joy Taylor, you're not going to, you want to keep those tits on the screen as much as possible. And Joy did a good job by promoting herself and pulling herself in that position, because when she did that, she put herself on a plateau that, boosts her stock. Her stock increased tremendously. Her stock, I mean, it just took off. Mm-hmm. I can't stand bootlicking Ocho. Well, that's the thing. Ocho has always been that guy. He's he's gonna be the guy that's ambitious. He wanted to make it at this. I'm not mad at a guy want to make it in something. I mean, a lot of people don't like Craig Carlson. I'm not up at that time sometime, but if I am up, you know, I'm all for it. There's just so many things that's wrong. You know, you see it and you don't believe it yourself. You want to always make room for change. You want to. No, I mean, when you kick it off with that lineup and you start seeing how everybody's moving with the lineup, you start saying, okay, what's the most craziest morning show they could come up with? Right? So there's going to be a Fox NFL game analyst. Mark Schlereth is one of the best when it comes to that narrative. You got the Hall of Fame guys all in there, doing the talking. But Craig Carlson, like totally radio guy. He's got the radio voice. And, he's made for this, in my opinion. I don't see a big problem with, him being in that driver's seat position. I just feel like it is what it is at that point. Well, at that point, you just really want to. Hmm. Well, Schlereth and all those guys, if you look at it, you kind of understand where the shift is going to be. I don't really expect too much from the Danny Parker guy. I don't know him. I don't know too much about him, what he's bringing to the table. That this lineup is quite is quite dynamic for them. It's a swing that they feel like this is the best, out of the carousel. But I knew that they had grown tired of Joy Taylor trying to talk football and with these guys who've actually played the game. They need somebody outside of Ocho to deal with Joy. I can tell you that now. Some of her takes was like almost like, okay, we understand Jason Jason Taylor is your brother. Okay, we get that. But what you're saying is totally ludicrous. Well, of course, Joy Taylor's gonna be out there because they have a large male following. Males like to see Joy. The best thing she did for her career, there is no more Undisputed. Undisputed is gone because Skip Bayless had that show. It was probably licensed under his name. Lil Wayne had the song. It's all about Skip in the intro. So Undisputed was his baby. So when he left, Undisputed had to go too. So I figured by a new name, they'll be all set and ready to go by then. So Breakfast Ball is the new show. They got a new name for the morning. Then after Breakfast Ball, the facility. So it evolves from there. They never really put those things into perspective, to be honest. I've seen a lot of people who make those type of adjustments, and the lineup, the shows just die. So when you start seeing stuff like that, where the show is still like the show, and nobody's complaining, like it's like the show is still good. This show is still outstanding. It's not a lot of times. It's not a lot of times, buddy. They got the same agenda in place. A lot of them don't care. What's up, bud? Yeah, a lot of them, they don't really care. So if they don't really care about it, then there's a lot of people who are not going to raise a fuss or a stink about what's going on because nobody's really showing that they care about the lineup changing. But a lot of people disliked Keyshawn Johnson for some reason. I mean, to me, he didn't really, I didn't really take him serious or nothing. He didn't stand out except for like the last episode, he wanted to go at it with Kevin Durant. So now I don't know what he's going to do now that he's on a whole new show. Him and Paul Pierce has joined Joey Taylor on the afternoon show. Well, I don't know if Speak is in California or New York on the East Coast. Because first things first is in the studios in the East Coast. Over in New York, first thing, the Herd and Undisputed, which was now going to be the facility, are in California. Well, you always want to make sure you maintain your degree of excellence. And when you start slipping, all of that goes away. So it's not like Speak didn't have good numbers. It's just that it was at a stalemate, where it's like, it's doing all right, but it could be better. Now, the main flagship show is, Speak has a chance to make a really big mark because that's going to be the lead-in show for all the other shows, like all the games. So Speak is the last thing you hear or see before the shows kick off. So you always going to make sure that show is up and running and popping and everybody's excited for it. That's what Speak is about. So if that's not happening, then that's going to be a major drawback for the rest of the people that's out there watching the shows. Well, more importantly, you want to make sure that the people that you are entrusting with everything that you want done is actually getting the stuff done. So that's just the way it is. That's the main point. The chemistry of the people that's working together. Is somebody going to be the dominant one who's going to shine? Like Paul Pierce, would it be allowed to be Paul Pierce on the show? Would they try to submerge him down? Now, what you don't see anymore is Rachel Nichols. Rachel Nichols was very much not needed in that situation. She really wasn't. Yeah, she would come on the show to do whatever she could because she was part of her Showtime contract before they canceled her show over there with Showtime. So she was just basically working out the rest of her contract. They were just giving her something to do. Well, everybody's hot till they're not, so when you start seeing one person do something that doesn't make any damn sense, and you start seeing another person doing something that don't make no damn sense, you start asking questions, right? It's only natural. I never saw it that way. I saw it as an opportunity for people to expand who had range. Like I seen like First Take Like they're doing a set number of shows. But the reason why the ratings were so high is because they spent so much time away when they went away the first time as Undisputed. So the first time they went away, put them in a dangerous position because your audience who's up at that time that normally watches your show has nothing basically to watch. So for like 2-3 months, they were off the air. And you gave your audience basically to First Take. And that was a bad move. And that's why the numbers were like double when Shannon Sharp got there, because most of the people went there to start watching them because there was no show. Then without Shannon Sharp and you didn't have anything really in place, you come with a smorgasbord full of people, and that just wasn't a payoff. People was like, man, we've grown to know who Shannon is. We grew with the show. And now we got this. It's a complete letdown. Well, they listened to Skip until it was like, why are we listening to Skip? But when everything went down, they listened to Skip. They wanted to do the carousel so they could find someone. Skip wasn't with it. He had final say because his contract said he has final say. So they couldn't, argue with him. They wanted to put Shady McCoy with him. And that tester didn't work out well with Skip. And they're in the ratings business. And once they see the ratings are at a rate, it's like, why am I paying you $8 million for? Once it gets to that point, why am I paying you $8 million? Again, what am I paying you $8 million for? Now we get to that point, now we got a problem. When guys don't know why they're paying you, that's when the lights out, party's over. Oh yeah, that's gonna kick in heavy. Nobody's happy with that. You gotta kind of look at the situations, how they present themselves. Nobody was happy with Shannon Sharp going over there with their ratings. And they took that huge ratings hit. That was not part of the plan. No. Keyshawn wears suits for Marshalls. Yeah, pretty much. But I thought maybe, but I think Taylor Rooks has her own deal. Because I thought they probably get the females with Joy. They could have a show like that, but Fox is more conservatives than they are liberal. So the fact they got Joy leading the show off is something extra for them. They ain't finna have a whole show full of women. Now, what you don't see normally here is a lot of changes within the shows that are their best shows. The Herd has always been doing great with his ratings and everything else. Then you have other shows that's coming in and doing what they're doing. But you always had shows that were, what we say, on the cusp of being something spectacular. You've always had some of those shows around. Speak is kind of a new show where, they don't really know where it could be, but they want to try to see where it can end up now. So that's why you got the lineup switch the way you do. Yeah, pretty much. People jobs on the line. Like, this is a big step. You got a lot of black guys on these shows for Fox. People of color, diversity. Joy's mixed speakers. Ain't no white guy on that show. All the white guys is in the morning. The faculty, it was all brothers. Well, this is where I feel Fox could win. The NFL season. You got the NFL season in full swing. So now that you got the NFL season kicking off in full swing, this is how it's going to turn out. You're not going to have any time for anything else, like, for real. Look how many football guys they got. You see what I'm saying? Look how many football guys they have in position over there. It's the NFL season finna kick off, right? So you got the NFL season finna kick off, and you have, let's see, you got one football guy in the morning, then you got 2, 3, 4, 5 kicking off in the morning, football guys. That's 6 football guys. So you got 6 to 7 football guys on these shows. That's talking sports. They played in the league. So that's how you kicking it off. Well, that's great. That's what you should be doing. Watching me is better for you. My first sport I ever played that I was dominant in was football. It's nothing I couldn't play in football. Every position, cornerback, wide receiver. I was the wide out because I was fast and I had great hands, so I could catch a football no matter where it's at. To touch my hands, it was caught. I had great reflexes and speed. So I could track a football, pull it down real quick, and go get it. Instead of letting the football come to me, I could just snatch it. Cornerback, I know how to lead the quarterbacks when I was a corner. Make them believe the guy is open when he really wasn't. Well, it's a matter of doing what's best for you, you know? And making the best show. You know, you want to do what's best for you. Oh man, I knew how to get us in the game. We would lose games, and that's why I said football is the ultimate team sport. Because you could be having the greatest game on earth. I'm serious. You could be having the greatest game on earth. You could be crushing it. I'm serious. You could be crushing it. And it won't mean a thing. You could have a monster game and y'all could be getting blown out. Yeah, I had to play quarterback. I wasn't a great quarterback, but yeah, I played quarterback a couple of times for this team, but it was entirely different. You know, when you playing quarterback out there, that's a whole different experience, bro. Well, Slar's got a lot of stories from NFL that comes through, so I like hearing when he's talking. There's only so much people can do. Well, when you start making things hard for yourself, that's when the results start going against you. Stuff start working against you when you start doing stuff like that. I'm gonna tell you like this, just so you would know. I like Fox shows better than I do the ESPN shows. ESPN is so much, it's so phony. It's like everything's an act. They do all this script running. It's just, it's really bland to me. I just can't take it. No, I ain't got a problem with Ocho and what's his name? Ocho and what's his name? Ocho thing is, it's his show, you know? That's just what it is. It's Ocho's show, and he got to be in charge. And when they had Joy Taylor in there, it was getting in the way. It was like, whose show is it? Is it Joy's show? Is it Ocho's show? And every time he tries to take the wheel, she comes and shuts it down. And they were kind of stepping on each other's toes. And then sometimes it was uncomfortable in there, and seemed like they all teamed up on Joy. And then if they do that, she don't like it. No, this is what Ocho wants. This is the lineup he wants. Because James Jones is not finna try to run the show. He's not. James Jones is not finna try to be the main guy and challenge for the top spot. Shady don't want it either. They don't want the top spot. They cool in their positions. So now this is the lineup they wanted before. Before Skip Bayless shot this thing down, this was the lineup that they wanted to run. It was going to be Undisputed with Shady McCoy and James Jones. Skip Bayless didn't want it. They wanted it, but Skip didn't. So they spent all this money bringing in Keyshawn, bringing in, what's his name? Richard Sherman. And that didn't work out. The man kept getting DUIs, and they didn't really want Sherman in the first place. Skip did. And Richard Sherman was supposed to be the main person on the mic. But he just ain't built for it. It ain't his fault. He just can't do it. Well, you know how the saying goes. Some people got it. Some people just don't. Yeah, Richard Sherman didn't have it. He just didn't have it. Some people got that it factor and they can pull it off. Sherm just didn't have it. So Keyshawn, who's been doing this for years, was quite easy for him. But it was a heck of a negotiations with ESPN with his contract to get Keyshawn over there. You know, they was like, look, y'all took Shannon Sharp from us. So we're gonna go ahead and take somebody from y'all. And they was like, Keyshawn for Shannon Sharp? No problem. You can take our dead weight. Like, oh, y'all got a problem with him? Y'all got a problem with somebody bringing in numbers? Okay. But ESPN was scared. They had Shannon Sharp, they were petrified. Because they didn't know. They were so petrified, they didn't even know that oh yeah, they were so petrified it was crazy. They had no idea because they were reading all the Shannon Sharp, he's a bull in a china shop. He get mad, he just storm and get mad and go crazy. And he the guy that blew up at the basketball games. And they don't want that on the show. Oh no, testosterone? Like they were so scared, they signed Shannon to this little entry contract, had him on there like, well, we gonna try you out. Try you out. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. We gonna try you out. Like he's got audition. He was already the big star where he was at. Then they started on numbers and said, oh my goodness. These are the biggest numbers we've ever done. They realized how popular Shannon was because the brothers was watching Shannon. Nobody was watching First Take. None of the brothers. None of us was like digging the show. But once they got Shannon Sharp, everybody tuned in. Now you got the brothers, you got everybody. They watching Unc. What's up, Unc? But ain't no cigarillos on this show. It is cut and dried. And boring. Completely boring. And a lot of this stuff is so laid out and formulaic. It's like really not rocket science. It's just a sports show. Some people, they take themselves too serious. And, other people just don't get it. Like, relax. This is supposed to be fun. You getting paid to talk about sports. Relax. Quit taking yourself so serious. Well, some of them can't help themselves. Most people, and I said most people feel like, oh, that's a waste of time, or this is the best way to do it, and I feel better if I do it this way. You never get that kind of love and respect all the time from people. You just don't get it. It's not common. People like personalities. They don't really care about your knowledge. You think people tuning in to listen to Joy tell is knowledge? They are not concerned with her knowledge whatsoever. Half of the time, the crowd is like, what is she talking about? But her tits look amazing. And those tits bring in ratings. Now, Alex Curry, she's another one with really nice tits, but she actually knows a lot about baseball. Like she's really, really versed in the sport of baseball. Like she know, whoa. I'm like, she's in depth with that. I said, man, okay, I get it. Joy sometimes she knows like she's on point, and then sometimes she likes to hear herself talk almost. Like she cut somebody off just to be cutting them off. And they'd be like, okay, well, what do you got to add to it, Joy? And she's, well, it's kind of the same. It's just that. Why are we constantly doing this? It's like, what is this? What are you talking about, Joy? Everybody was in agreement. So I thought we are. It's just that. When are we gonna? It's like, what is she talking? Where is she going with this? Like, what? She's taking some great leaps and bounds. No. If that was the case, they wouldn't even invite people back. They wouldn't even invite you back if that was the case. I'm serious. They would not invite you back. You would be cast out so quick. Nobody be thinking about you. Hell to the nigga now. They have no use for you. There's so many people that just don't get what everybody does in their jobs. Plus, you have things that happen that you're not even allowed to talk about on your show. Like, it's like, man, we can't talk about this. This the talking points. Okay. All right. Well, let's go through it. Like, it's a dance. You know, they'll never have Chris Carter on there again. He knows it. So he know he blew millions. And it was all because of Chris. You know, I feel bad for him because he was somebody that could have done something but ended up not doing anything. No. The way I look at it is different. Y'all might see it that way. I clearly do not. I see it in a way of well, here's the thing. People often mistake themselves or take themselves too serious. Like I said, it's just a sports show. So what y'all talking about is like, I get it, but on a realistic tip, nobody cares. Right. They just go newsflash. At the end of the day, this is not going to affect anybody's taxes or salary. Tell me how many people you know that were in a position right. Well, how many people you know were in that position? They always say that. It's always somebody. It's always somebody that says something crazy like that. Like, oh, they can stick anybody on those shows. It don't work like that. The public gotta watch these shows, man. So if the public is not watching the shows, then I mean, you think about it. Man, are you kidding me? When Undisputed first came out, Fox had nothing. They had garbage. The actual name of the show was Garbage Time with Katie Nolan. And Nick Wright was on that show. Oh yeah, with Katie Nolan. Oh, it was terrible. That show was absolutely terrible. She had momentum being on an internet podcast show. She had her following, so they thought, oh, we're going to get a lot of this Katie Nolan following on the internet. Gave her a deal on Fox. Didn't know what to do with her. And she swindled her way to ESPN. Nobody liked her on ESPN. And she was just there. They just got her, just to say they took somebody from, like, yeah, we took somebody from them. And everybody, they were looking like, you can have her. We don't want her. She's your problem. So they kept just sticking her on everybody's show. It was like, that's pathetic. But okay, we get it. She means something to you. Well, you're often going to see a lot of people, basically run interference for the ones that they love and care about. Do you think this show should be like, what is your favorite show out of this? Out of this lineup, what is the lineup you're going to watch? First things first, if I had to pick one, everybody would pick first things first, mostly because of the afternoon spot. It had its most viewers because people are now like, okay. And now you got a lot of people that don't like Nick Wright. He's a LeBron guy all the way now, and that's his agenda. He's going to be the LeBron guy and stick up for LeBron every time, no matter what. And that's going to piss off a lot of people. And that's what success is on these things. You think I'm like a lot of people like listen to me because they like me? They can't stand me but want to listen to me to see what I'm going to say about LeBron. You'll always hear that. I'm like, I got more people that dislike me than like me. And that's good because I want them to hear the truth. Well, you always want somebody to hear the truth. See, that's not me. I'm not going to say something just to be against something, just for argumental sake, for sake. Like that, man, I'm going to go with this. You go with that one so we can have an argument. I can't do that. If I don't really believe it, then I can't rock with it. That's just me. So, I mean, other people, to those who can do it, hats off to you too. I'm not built that way. So if I say something, y'all might be thinking it's extreme. It ain't extreme to me. To me, it's exactly how I feel. They're gonna be like, oh, that ain't extreme for him. He actually believed it. I mean, yeah. You know Michael Jordan is better than Isaiah Thomas. You know how many times I hear that? I mean, not in my opinion. Not at this game. I didn't seen Isaiah play. And I seen him play against Michael Jordan. And I knew right away. Mike wasn't even second. I was like, I saw him play against Larry Bird. And I'm like, no thanks. Nah. He wasn't better than them. No. Not really. Most of those situations are dealt with already. Like people know better. Like they know what they want to do or what they want to get into. Some people they act like they do and they don't. But to be truthfully honest, hell no. Man, most of these people don't get it. They don't. Most of them don't get it because they don't really care. How many times must I say it? Oh, yeah, Nick Wright, he loves to hate on Lamar Jackson because he is a Patrick Mahomes guy who he's adopted. And since he adopted this Patrick Mahomes thing, that's what he's been on. Mahomes could do no wrong. Yeah, every time he wags his lips, it's about Patrick Mahomes. So naturally, that's gonna piss off the brothers who get like, "Hey, man, you tired of you talking about this damn white boy? He's black. No, he ain't." Right. That brings up a whole new narrative. It's always something when it comes to him. It's always gonna be something. Every time you turn around, it's gonna be another case. Oh, it's always a situation when it comes to him. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Well, Fox thing is when basketball season come around. Then we're gonna see where the shows really are. Now the football season, Fox should shine. Because Fox got the games, they got all the football guys. You got about 6 to 7 football guys, not even mentioning the guest that's gonna be on the show. Yeah, well, when you start seeing the scales and you start seeing these shows, like I can't stand that McIntyre guy. Oh, I can't. I just don't like the sound of his voice. Nothing. It is complete irritation. Listening to that guy is just completely irritating. I just can't do it. I don't know how everybody else can, but I cannot listen to him. But I guess he's a perfect balance for Colin to be on the show because after losing Joy, she had a chance to get her own show. She took it. And it was smart. I mean, she's making great business decisions for her career. Just remember, in 2016, she was a moderator who could barely get any words out, just because Skip didn't like a lot of talking unless it was about domestic violence. And they'd be like, okay, it's domestic violence. All right, you got this. Go ahead. Take it away, Joey. Yeah, she was just a symbol for domestic violence. It was like, dude, somebody went upside Joey's head. Damn. Yeah, it messed up a lot of people. Yeah, well, think about that for a minute. Greg Jennings can't catch a break. He's not permanently on no shows on Fox Sports 1. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why, but he kind of, it's just that it's not that he ain't good. It's just there's nothing special about him. You know, there's nothing really special about Greg Jennings. He's just Greg Jennings. You know, you don't see anything about him that stands out, that jumps off the screen. I mean, for real, nothing about him makes you say, wow, you know, like this is the guy. Right. You'll never hear, man, I can't wait to hear what Greg Jennings got to say. You ain't going to never hear that. Like, who you know would be sitting around talking about Greg Jennings? It's Greg Jennings. Man, I wish I would. Man, they don't want no parts of anything to do. No, man, don't nobody care about that. All they care about is who got the ratings. Who my ratings got? Right now, I think Nick Wright is their like a knight in shining armor. Wow, look what they did, man. Trying to spam my Wi-Fi. You see what they do? That's how you know what you're saying is the business. You see that? See how they work? See how they try to make you obsolete? Playing dirty. Nah, they don't want to see that. I've been on the Fox set plenty of times back in the day. Back when, man, this was what, 92, 93. Fox was always more. I've been on the ESPN set. That's when I saw Molly up close and realized, she is not what y'all be thinking about. Like, y'all be tripping. Y'all be idolizing the wrong women, boy. She needs that makeup, trust me. Like, she is not really that attractive. And I was like, wow. TV makes people look a lot better. Well, my favorite show is not even my favorite show. I want to see what Speak looks like. I want to see what this facility looks like. I already know what I'm getting with First Things First. First Things First has already been established. So you know what you're going to get from the show. There ain't no surprises, ain't no changes. Yeah, so you know what you're getting from that show. The Herd, ain't no changes there. So you know what you're getting from that show. Right, it's just straight business. Straight to it. Yeah, we could be stepbrothers. But if anybody think me and Flavor Flav look alike, I just think you're a little bit way off. There's just so much people want to say, but don't know how to say it. They don't know how to get it off. They don't know what to do. All the scenarios, all those scenarios are against us, and they never really understood it. Oh, 100%. No, I just looked at it a little differently when I was talking about the shows. I was looking at the shows from the standpoint. It's just like when Errol Spence was fighting Terrence Crawford. I told people, about 5 years ago, how the fight was going to break it down. 5 years ago.
Let's talk about the big match about to come, Spence and Porter.
Oh, yeah.
The big one. What do you think about this one?
Well, I think this is the fight here that's going to probably be the toughest for Errol, because even though Errol, this style fits his style, this is a guy who got some size to him. And Sean, he fights like it's 3rd and 1, so
Hut, hut.
yeah, 3rd and 1, let's go. Hut, 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 hut. He hits you with the head and the shoulder, then the punch comes third. So that's his style. So that's the way he likes to get down. So I understand that's Sean's style, but I see Errol after the 3rd or 4th round. I think he'll get control of the fight. I see him getting control of the fight around the 3rd or 4th round. I see, because it takes Errol a little bit of time to really get going. So if Sean want to get him, he's going to have to get him in the first 3 rounds. Because once after the 3rd round, that engine gets going for Errol, and Errol's like knows you pretty much and know what you're going to do for the duration of the fight. And Sean has no plan B. It's all plan A. And if he tries to fight, like box, like he did with Ugas, he will be in trouble, because he lost the fight with Ugas. That was clearly a robbery. But I know why they did it. They wanted to make the money fight right now. So they go ahead and put them 2 in there together, and you're going to see it's going to be a showcase fight for Errol, but it's the toughest fight for him because it's going to be rugged. And the last time he was in a rugged fight, he got buzzed in like the 2nd, 3rd round, So, yeah, Errol got his bell rung in there fighting on a rugged guy. So Sean will have his opportunities if he makes it ugly, but he needs to do that. That's his style. He did for this fight. He can't try to box Errol. That's not going to help him. You need to make it rugged. You need to smother Errol. Keep your head down, shoulder in his chest, pin him down, but do it smart. Don't do it where you fouling and headbutting, and next thing you know, it's cuts everywhere. He cut himself up. I mean, the fight with Berto, he was cut up just from headbutts. I'm like, dude, you cutting yourself. Move your doggone head. I don't even think he knocked Berto out. He knocked Berto down with illegal headbutts, like about 3 of them. And they called knockdown. They just stopped the fight. Like, it stopped. They were like, man, he headbutted me. What are you stopping the fight?
You think this one goes the distance?
Yeah, I think it goes the distance.
Yeah, you think? Okay.
I think Errol wins by, I'll say, majority decision. It'll really be unanimous, but it's what they're going to do.
You think Crawford gives Errol some go?
Crawford beats Errol easy.
Easy. Why?
Boxing IQ, confidence in the ring. Terrence can do A, B, C, and D. Errol could do A, B. That's the difference. He's an X factor. And Terrence hits a lot harder than a lot of people give him credit for. They don't believe it. And he's a much better body puncher than Errol Spence. And Errol, like, they both switch. But Errol switches out of just being off balance. When Terrence switch, it's smarter. He switched to get a leverage on a certain shot. Errol's switch because he's out of position, which leaves him open for a counter shot all the time. And I'm like, oh gosh, he's making a big mistake with his feet. Terrence got quicker feet than Errol. Errol's more flat-footed, more stationary. Terrence can get on the ball with his toes and box by moving backwards. He's a better boxer than Errol. I think Errol's good at anticipation. Like, he's good at figuring out a fighter's style. But he's only been fed a certain type of fighters who don't have different variations in their game. So it's easy once you figured out what he's going to do. And it normally takes him 3 rounds to do that. And the fight with Mikey Garcia, he really struggled in the first 3 rounds. He struggled. And he shouldn't have. And I was confused. It took him 3 rounds really to get himself asserted into the fight. And I was wondering, I'm like, why is he fighting like this? I'm like, he's making the fight harder than what he needs to make it. This fight is exactly what it is. Mikey's not going to do anything different. This is what he's going to do for the fight. Like, what are you doing? Like, you made that fight ridiculous for the first 3 rounds. He should have got Mikey out of there. And he would have. Mikey would have given it up had he figured out early, this is what Mikey's going to do for the game. This is their game plan. They have no plan B. Mikey will give it up if I keep pushing the pressure on him. Mikey just want to make it to the cards and show, like, hey, he was okay with losing. Like, Mikey was like, look, I'm getting a check. If I lose, hey, I was in there with a bigger guy. I went for it. He had that mentality. He didn't have the let's go. I can get this. And he was like, look, I can get to the bell.
I finished.
Yep.
And there it is. Now, as you can see, I knew exactly what I was talking about. But it takes people 4-5 years to realize C don't know what the hell he's talking about. Oh, yeah. Now, breakfast ball, I won't be catching this show because I'm sleep normally during 8 to 10 o'clock in the morning. If you call me during that time, I'm going to be upset. That's like I'm just putting my head on the goddamn pillow. Like, don't bother me. Yeah, I'll be on that time. Man, people be crazy, man. I'm serious. People be real crazy about stuff like that. They take it dead serious. Me, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm just cool. Well, when you have certain expectations and requirements from people, you'll start to see where people allegiances are too. You know what I'm saying? Like people allegiances are different. Well, let's go through the salary point. The person that's getting all the big money on this show out of all the Fox thing really is two people. Keyshawn Johnson, I know it's a shock, right? And Colin Cowherd. Colin's getting big money. He getting about $8 million. So that's crazy. Yeah, he getting $8 million a year. Right? So he's getting those big bucks, them big boy dollars. Well, that's what happens when you have production and you got a crew and you got people around you that, you know, believe in what you're doing. And Nick Wright would probably be the next one on the list. But other than that, well, if you look at it the way everyone else and how they put it together, Nick Wright contract would be probably the next to the largest deal in sports. Right? Not I mean for Fox, not sports. But Fox Sports 1. The Fox Sports 1 deal, I'm looking at the Breakfast Ball. That's probably a really cheap show. Like, it's some $100,000 people in here. Like, your boy Cino make more money than most of these dudes on TV. I'm not going to lie to you. Speak for Yourself is going to be the best. The show that they just call Speak now. It has the potential to be, because it's going to be a lead-in show to the games. By it being in that spot, you're going to have your Monday night football, Thursday night football. When the NBA season come around, then you're going to have the 7 o'clock games kick off, because right after that show, the games kick off. So they're the lead-in to the games. into the NFL season, this is going to be huge for them. Yeah, nobody I know would really even care, though, to be honest. All they care about is where's the money? But no, out of all the new shows, that's the one I think that'll probably pop. Like, he's a radio guy, but I don't really have a problem with him. A lot of people don't like Craig. I know he don't like LeBron, so well, to me, he's got an honest voice. So I can listen to him. And I'm like, he don't bother me. Like, Keyshawn sometimes is unbearable for some people. No, I was never like that. With Key, nah. Nah. Joy Taylor wasn't like that. No, if you look at the numbers, you will see right away what time it was. The numbers reflect it all. When you see people do what they supposed to do, then you don't complain as much. Like, if you see people that's living up to their potential, right? If they living up to their potential, why would you complain about them? They doing what they supposed to do. You won't care about somebody that ain't living up to their potential. But it's just like on a TV show, you could still, it's not like a football game. If you're good on the show, people will notice. And when you good on that show, they gonna notice you and say, who was that person? So the whole show could suck and you'll be doing good. They might take you and put you on another show because you've done so well. This has happened before. Well, they be like, man, this show sucks. But he was good. That's how the networks think. The networks think just like that. They go, man, this show sucks, but this guy here, he's great. And that's what I'm saying. You could still get yours. Max Kellerman is going to be all right. I don't know why they worried about him. He's getting millions of dollars to sit down and relax and be with his family. He's just not going to have a job with ESPN. And it's mainly because of Stephen A. Smith, who spent a large majority of his time trying to get the man fired and run him out of the business. You know, when you see people that behave in those type of patterns, then you start to understand why people don't mess with them in the first place. Right. So when Undisputed, when Shannon Sharp was fired or let go or however you want to word it, when that happened with Shannon Sharp, they right away pivoted and was going to go to the carousel, which was going to bring over Shady McCoy and James Jones over to Undisputed. They brought one, they were going to try them all out and have them all debate Skip Bayless. And Shady is the one that was winning the debates out of all of them that they thought was the better fit. Skip Bayless had final say, so Skip didn't want it. So Skip had a whole new idea that he wanted to try. The networks was against it. He was for it. He has final say, so he's not going to approve any of the guys they pick. He wants to pick his guys. And who are they to go against Skip Bayless? He made them a hit show. So they're like, okay, well, we're going to let it go. Then he got bananas. Because after that, this show made its grand pivot. Yep. Made its grand pivot. Guess what this show decided to do? Go away. That's the best way to beat the competition. We gonna go away for 2 months and come back like we got it like that. First take, like we ain't even got it like that. We ain't gonna be stupid enough to go away. Like go away? What the hell? Why would you do that? Y'all just giving us the victory. Thank you. Now everybody who normally watch you gonna roll right on over here to First Take. And they did. Their numbers increased. The moment Undisputed went down that first week, all of those views went over there to them. They was like, well, let's see what they doing over here then, since we ain't got no show. Terrible idea. And they were down for months. So now those guys are comfortable with being over there. And then they got Shannon Sharp over there, and that did it. They had no reason to come back. They were like, what are we coming back for? Well, at some point, you got to be real with yourself. Right. It's going to be a time you're going to have to ask yourself those questions. Are you being real with yourself? Well, they're not spending a lot of money on that morning show, so they getting that morning show pretty cheap. It's a couple of guys getting a few $100,000 there. Slav was getting about $2 million, but everybody else they're not in that upper echelon. Most of the people we knew, they didn't travel that way. I get what you're saying, but people didn't move like that. Like, they ain't trying to sneak each other. It's not really too much of that on the show. Some people are. Like Ocho takes me as a snake. You know, he'll be the guy that's going behind your back, saying something to management. If you going against what he wants. He seems like that guy all the time. He just always seemed like that guy. I'm not saying that he is. Well, I like James Jones. You know, he tell it like it is. He gets to the point, like he didn't take none of no Joy Taylor it either. Like he'll tell her exactly how he feels. They always got to cut James Jones off. Because he gonna let it be known. He ain't gonna let Joey come in there. He like, I don't care what your tits look like. I'm used to seeing them now. People will always find a way to be who they are. So when Skip Bayless and the show and the ratings was losing, they said, "Oh, okay, we up out of here." Straight like that. Soon as them ratings was falling, they was up out of there. Skip had no more power. Skip was done. Yeah, you can't hold that position. Fluctuation. Well, Speak has its moments. Sometimes First Things First has its moments. Depending on who they got on there, Colin Cowherd is like, he's more talk radio to me than anything. I used to listen to the Herd. Notice I said used to. No, I used to listen to it. No, I don't do that no more. Well, there's a lot of people with they have their pre-exposed perceptions of how things should be, the way it needs to be, and all this. No, in real life, no one cares about your feelings, your plans. This is my way of the future. Like, the people don't care. Now, you got to have a compelling thing in sports media. You got passion. If you got passion to do it, people will listen to you. They will stop and give you that attention. But 9 times out of 10, a lot of them won't. Then sometimes the audience can tell if you just faking it or you really standing by it. Yeah, if you really standing by it, if you really own it like that, like I'm really repping this, they could tell. Like I said before earlier, it is not rocket science. It's basketball. It's football. It's sports. At the end of the day, that's all it is. But see people be, they all waiting on me to say something. They'd be like, no, they're not. Nobody's caring. They're ready to go home. They're thinking about the clock, when to punch out, etc., etc., etc. Oh, there'll be a lot of them that follow these guys, man, and be like, man, you said this about such and such. Most of these guys don't care. They don't care. They have no passionate connection to any of it. Yeah, for them, they don't care. When you have no passionate connection, that's what normally happens. You get crushed. That's why Greg Jennings be passed around on these shows. It's a lot of them that's not making the big bucks. Like Paul Pierce, he's making I don't think Paul is making that much. He didn't come in there breaking the bank. Nope, nope, and nope. Ricky Davis. Richard Sherman was bad. He couldn't stop stuttering. He would, yep, cause Skip. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. This isn't gonna work. Yeah, I love that Lil Wayne song, and now it's done. Nah. Yeah, so that's about it, man. I done talked about this thing for 2 hours. I'm gonna holler at y'all tomorrow, man. Y'all have a good night. Get some Z's. I'm out.